Teaching English during summer can often be difficult. It's hot, students have a lot of energy, and everybody would rather be outside enjoying the warm weather. To help with that, I'd like to share 10 summer activities that you can do in your class. Number 1, 5 senses. Summer is all about the senses. The amazing smells, the warm sun on your skin, a cool breeze, the sound of laughter or waves if you're at the beach. This is a great outdoor activity if you're able to take the kids outside. If not, they have to stay inside and use their imagination. Pair students with a partner and give them a paper. On the paper, they should write the 5 senses: see, smell, hear, touch, and taste. Then they have to fill in the sections with as many examples as they can possibly think of. Give them a minimum number like 5 so that they don't keep it blank. For example, they can write down things like see children playing outside, smell the ocean, hear the bees buzzing, touch sea sand when you're building a sandcastle, or taste ice cream. Once they are done, ask pairs to share the things they have written down on their paper. Write the answers on the board to compare. You can take it a step further by telling the students to use those sentences and write a story about it. Number 2, human Scrabble. Get some A4 papers and write a letter on each, similar to what you would do with real Scrabble. Add lots of vowels, S's, R's, and N's. You know, the letters that are easier to use. Once the teacher shouts Scrabble, students have 1 minute to rearrange themselves into groups to create the longest word possible. Each individual student can write down their own score. After 10 rounds, you can stop and see who has the highest score at the end. You can also swap cards so that students can use different letters. With younger students, you can give a point per letter, and with more advanced students, give each letter the real Scrabble score. Number 3, I'm going to the beach. This is a fun or frustratingly fun riddle activity. You start by saying, I'm going to the beach and I'm taking a... And here you can say anything, but whatever you say is related to a secret rule that only you know. For example, the secret rule is milk foods. I'm going to the beach and I'm taking a milkshake. Then each student has to take something along. They can say, I'm taking chocolate. Then you say, you can't go. If they say something like cheese, then you say, you can go. The students continue until they figure out the secret rule. And there are many creative rules that you can use. You can use categories like food, or the word has to start with the first letter of their name, or you can use the alphabet. So for example, you start with apple and they have to say bus. It could only be words with 4 letters. It could be compound nouns like pencil case, or something inside the classroom. Any rule you can imagine. Number 4, summer flashcard activity. Create flashcards or write down summer vocabulary on papers. Have 4 students each hold up a flashcard in front of class. They flash the flashcard to the class and then hide it. The students have to remember where the word is. You shout out one of the words and they have to line up in front of the student holding that flashcard. Children have great fun trying to remember, jumping from one line to the next, following their friends, and excitingly waiting for the card to be revealed. In the second round, it's fun to add additional challenge by getting the students to swap their flashcards. Once the students are in lines, you can ask a random student to use the word in a sentence. That gets all of them to think of sentences to use if asked. Number 5, blindfolded games. There are many activities that can be played by using a blindfold. Any scarf or sleep mask will do. One such activity is the touch or taste challenge. Get different summer related items like a snorkel, a tube, sunscreen, a beach ball. Students then put on a blindfold and you give them different items to touch and identify. After all the students have had a chance, they can use some of the items and construct a role play that they do in front of class. Another fun blindfold activity for question practice is to have everyone stand in a circle with one student in the center wearing the blindfold. Spin him or her around a few times and then they walk to the nearest student who they ask a question. When the student answers, the blindfolded student has to guess who it is. Let the students think and write down some ideas for questions before starting. You can let the students change places once they guess the correct person. Number 6, travel activities. Travel is another common activity that takes place during summer months. A fun activity is to help your students plan real or virtual summer vacations. They create a personal itinerary and discuss or write about their plans. I added a list of travel questions that students can ask one another in the worksheet file, which you can get for free once you join the Etiquette email list. Number 7, suitcase of random items. Another travel related activity is to have a suitcase with many random items inside. If you don't want to do that, you could find a picture on the internet of a collection of items, or it could be many people in the same photo, almost like Where's Waldo. Give the students a minute to study the suitcase contents or picture. It could be fun to put students into pairs to write everything down together. After that, randomly remove a few of the items. Students then have to guess what's missing. As a follow-up, the pairs can create a story or dialogue based on the items. Number 8, scavenger hunt. Students walk around the class or outside if possible and make their own scavenger list of things to see. They should try and make it specific. Then take all the scavenger hunt lists and redistribute them to the class. They have to walk around and find those items. After you've given them time to complete, put them in groups where they can explain the items and where they were found to the other students. This is a good activity to practice prepositions and explain where things are. Number 9, planning a picnic. The summer is also a popular season for picnics and barbecues. Discuss with your students about how they would plan and organize a real or imaginary picnic or barbecue. The students create a mind map about the best location, weather, food, beverages, and activities for the event. Practice conversations about verbal invitations and review writing invitations. Help them discover some in-season dishes that they would like to make, or they can write a recipe for the foods they would like to cook. And number 10, summer bucket list. Students create a summer bucket list. They write down what activities they hope to do that summer. And after sharing their bucket list, they can plan a timeline to explain how they might achieve those goals. It's very important for students to share these ideas with their classmates in pairs or small groups, and then they share what their friend is planning to do. This is a great way to practice listening for information and then sharing. Also, I found that students are less shy to speak in front of the class if they are talking about another friend's activities instead of their own. So these are the 10 summer games and activities for class. Check out this next video for more fun and easy activities you can do in class.